Welcome back to the male soap opera moment. Your favorite, evidently, because you're back with us. Wrestling podcast / videocast in the Western world. And of course, it is that because of not me. It's Vinny Bucci and Damascus Dagenhart on his way to Damascus. Desmond. It's a pleasure to be in the midst of such brilliant minds. And I got to tell you guys, as you've seen by our promotional video on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, I've been losing sleep. This has been a very difficult last few days and nights for me, but I've come to a conclusion on this decision on what to do at Money in the Bank. We're going to get to that. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about a little clash that went down in Scotland at a castle of sorts. It was more of an arena covered, but you get the gist. Brilliant matches. A lot of stuff to talk about here. Ladies and gentlemen, I have promised to deliver, and I'm going to get to it right after we cover the first few matches at the Clash at the Castle. Okay, listen. We've all heard of Norwegian Wood, but Scotland, they were fiending for the tables, and the chant started as early as the I Quit match between Cody and AJ Styles. And here's the thing. We all knew that AJ was not going to win this match. Well, we all knew he was not going to be champion leaving Scotland. But what they accomplished, the story they told, their abilities to go in and out of the ring, in the backstage area, using the AV equipment, despite the kendos, whips, chains, and cuffs, Cody prevails. I'm going to give you guys a chance to talk about this. The ending to me was a little weird. I don't like how it ended. I don't like this. I'm done. That's weird. I haven't seen anything like that in a long time, and it bothered me. There were some other matches, some things that happened that bothered me, and we'll get to those. But I want to give you guys an awesome opportunity here to not only kind of respond to my question about, what happened in the corner at the very end. The cowardice in the corner is what I'll call it. Let's hashtag that, cowardice in the corner. But also what you felt about the match in general. Desmond, you first.
I very much agree with you. The ending was weird. And the only reason I think the ending is weird is because we have grown so accustomed to extreme, disturbing, violent I Quit matches. And this wasn't that. This wasn't John Cena versus JBL. This wasn't Edge versus who was it? Finn Balor?
Yeah.
We didn't have that core hatred that I feel like existed in those other rivalries. To me, an I Quit match should have a very personal feel to it. This match just really didn't have it. At best, this was a slight loss of respect between the two people. It wasn't the hatred that we get from it, which is why we didn't get the destruction that I expect out of an I Quit match. And in the end, that's to me what ended up causing this calmer finish. That being said, I think it does make sense to a point. The point of the I Quit match is you're gonna sit there and torture your opponent until they say the words. I get that. Well, they had after Cody had turned the tables on AJ and had him locked up on the ropes where he couldn't escape anymore. AJ, and the storyline wise, it makes a little bit of sense. AJ's like, I have no way out of this. There's nothing that's going to change from this point on. Better to live to fight another day. I quit. Is the way I feel like this really came down to.
All right, there you have it. The encyclopedia has been opened. No need to renew your subscription. Just refresh your landing page. Vincent Kennedy Bucci, please indulge us.
I will say he explained the finish perfectly. I did enjoy the match overall. Overall, I thought it was a great match. Thought it was brutal. Thought it was fantastic. Really, my only moments were, look, I understand with a pay-per-view, you start strong, you finish strong, you set the tone. I get it. You should not open a pay-per-view with an I Quit match. especially when it involves the number one babyface of your company. Now, I get it's Scotland. I knew Damian and Drew were going to main event. So I was not blind to that, ignorant to that, and I support it 100%. Give the Scotlands their Scotsman hero. But that should have been at least match number 3. Like, I'll tell you what match should have opened the show, but that should have been at least the 3rd match. You put that in the middle. You have Piper and Bayley for the cool down, and then your main event. So I felt like an I Quit match should never open the show. A match of this magnitude. You don't start with that. So that was really my other issue. And then also people were wondering about AJ cowarding in the corner. Like, as far as I was concerned, he established he was a coward before he got to the finish. Because he got slapped 3 times and didn't do a goddamn thing. So
Whoa. Listen, you can't slap Mama Cody. Like, she did it.
Well, here's the thing. I've seen spots like that before, but you're supposed to do them a certain way. First of all, you get one slap. You get that one slap so the crowd pops. Oh, God, she slapped him in the face. Then usually as the heel, you take a moment to process, like, this bitch just slapped me? Are you out of your mind? Do you realize I could kill you? And then you go to kill her, and that's when the baby face is supposed to cut her off. That way, you get the pop, the heel still establishes he's a badass, and the baby face saves the day. That's how that's supposed to go. You don't get slapped 3 times, run and get a chair, stare at her, and then run back in the goddamn ring. Like, if you're not going to do the spot right, don't do it at all. So AJ has already established he's a coward because A, you did nothing. B, you grabbed a weapon and still did nothing.
But what is he supposed to do? I mean, seriously, what is he supposed to do? Go ahead, Des.
I feel like a big part of AJ's character, he's now willing to go to any lengths to win a match. That much is true. But that's the biggest difference between his heel and his face side right now. It's not that he's suddenly a complete and total douchebag. He's still the same person. And AJ Styles is not going to hurt somebody's mom. Period.
Yeah.
So that was him being like, him fighting with his new I'm going to do whatever it takes to win mentality while still holding on to his character. He is not going to go across that line. What we saw right there was the line he was not going to cross. That was it. That establishes that he can be a bad guy and still have limits.
True, but didn't he already cross the line when he was like tapping her like that?
There's a big fucking difference between that and actually hurting someone.
Yeah, come on. Yep. Let's all agree. Comment real quick. If you're watching this and you agree with Vinny, say, hey, I agree with Vinny on the whole AJ Styles. Should he have hit her? Should he have done something more than just look like he was going to? Because even the announcers chastened him for it. They were like, how dare you hold it? Like he was threatening her just by having the chair. And then he turned his back.
Well, let me clarify. I'm not saying he should have hit her. I'm saying he should have gone for a shot and then Cody should have cut him off.
Yeah, he didn't make it there in time.
That way the heat. Now, I'm not saying he should have hit her. No. Let me clarify that. I'm saying he goes for the shot. Cody rips the chair out of his hand, clocks him with the chair. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's how the spot should clarify that.
All right.
And then I also disagree with with him saying it shouldn't be the opening match. To me, the 2 most important matches of the night are the opening and the closing. If you're not going to close, you want to be the opening. Period.
Right. Yep. Just like a speech. First 30 seconds, last 30 seconds. That's what people remember. We all kind of agree that some things could have been done differently with the opening match. Booch, I kind of disagree on the order of operations. I get that, an I Quit match is a paramount, a main event level thing. But as we've seen, some of the best matches that WWE has done on pay-per-views have been done the first 5. Again, that first part and the last part, you got to keep them on. Because if you lose their attention during that first match, you've lost their attention for the next 2.5, 3 hours. So with that said, on a level between A and F, what would be your grade between Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles I Quit match?
I give it a B. Like I said, I didn't think it was a terrible match. There was just a few things I didn't particularly care for or felt should have been done differently. But as a match itself, I give it a B. It was great.
I'm going to give it a C. And it's not that's not being hateful. C is still passing. It was entertaining to an extent. I just feel like if you're not going to make it so personal, it doesn't need to be an I Quit match. And I feel like that was the setup was wrong for this match. The match didn't have the proper build for it. And I just feel like it really took away from what an I Quit match should have been.
And Booch, are you willing to walk it back a little bit about the part about him cowarding in the corner? Isn't that still off character, even a little bit for him?
Well, no. Well, here's the thing. Because, like I said, I established like he made himself look like a coward earlier in the match, but you're not gonna get back to that. But I'm saying that no, because like I said, he was trapped in the corner. Like earlier, Desmond mentioned John Cena and JBL. That was a violent I Quit match, but it ended with Cena picking up a weapon. JBL wasn't even handcuffed to anything. And he's got the microphone. And he goes, I quit. And he's cowering right before Cena attacked him. So
yeah, there's a big difference there. And with AJ was stuck. AJ knew there was no getting out of.
Yeah, you're handcuffed. You can't go anywhere. You're gonna get hit with the steel steps. So there's a way to do it. It's like sometimes people get put in chokeholds. Some people get trapped situations. Like they had to do something, and that was what they did. So it worked because he was trapped and had nowhere to go.
Fair enough. All right. Weigh in, everybody. If you're watching, all 90 plus of you who watched the last one, I'd also like to know what you liked about it so much that you shared it with your friends. Please keep doing that. That's amazing. Thank you so much. So let's get into this next match. I have something that I noticed. I want to see if you guys notice, and everybody else watching and listening to this, thank you for doing that. If you noticed it too, we'll get to that. But I promised something before, and I'm going to deliver on this. It's with much sadness, yet a sense of dignity and doing the right thing in this moment. I have decided, ladies and gentlemen, to bow out of the Money in the Bank pay-per-view prediction championship. Now, I'm not done forever. Hear me right. Just this one pay-per-view. And the reason, ladies and gentlemen, I am bowing out is because I finished dead last. I finished not even close, not even within a match or two. It was pretty bad. I'm going to do the right thing and let Damascus Dez and Vincent Kennedy Bucci compete for the belt at Money in the Bank. I will be back sweatier than ever for SummerSlam. Don't you worry. I plan on taking that belt back. But thank you for engaging on the socials. Thank you for watching the video. We'll do plenty more of those teases. But let's get to this next match. Way awesome match. So many spots. Jade and Bianca taking on the Unholy Alliance. Great match. I want to ask you guys a question. Did you notice Jade Cargill tap out, not only not within the ref's view, but behind the ref's view with the ref standing right there saying whatever she's saying? But it wasn't just once or twice to let her know, hey, you're squeezing me too hard or do something different. It was noticeable. And so I want to get y'all's take on this. What do you think actually happened? And did that bother you guys as much as it bothered me?
I don't think, first off, it was an intentional tap. She was tapping out. I feel like it was a spot that was done a little bit wrong. The timing was wrong. I think she was supposed to tap out and the ref was not supposed to see it. And it was supposed to be a big point of the story. But the ref wasn't in the right position to make it look good. Things weren't going the way it needed to be done. My biggest issue with it is Jade's supposed to be really dominant right now. She should not be tapping out, even if it doesn't end the match. Now, that being said, if she did that, then she should have won the match. If they were going to do that spot, she should have won the match, because it was one of those, oh, y'all missed where I tapped out. Well, guess what? I'm going to take advantage, and now I'm going to win. And neither of those things happened. So, to me, that was a little bit rough. That wasn't great. All I can say is at least she didn't take the pin.
Yeah, and you listen, hometown got what they wanted. You know, Alba and Isla, they got what they wanted there. Isla, whatever. Isla, sorry, I'm not good with names. What did I always butcher? What's the one I always butcher on the show? Many names. I'm not good with names. Great power, by the way. Great power. I mean, she's the truth. Where she did like a Samoan drop, then like she did a kip up, and then right on to the next moveset. Like this woman needs to be tested. First of all, is she really a woman? And then secondly, I also need to know what enhancers she's on, because this is not human. This is like chimera stuff.
Well, she's a bodybuilder. Yeah, so she is actually a woman. She actually has a kid.
She is athletic as fuck. I mean, that's all really comes down to it. And that's because she's done nothing but work out.
Yeah, And also, as far as the tap out thing goes, I will say this: I don't think she was supposed to tap out either behind a rest back or whatever. Because if someone did come up with that idea, they should be fired. Because Jade should not be tapping even with a rest behind back. Not at this point in her career. I think what happened was Shayna locked the choke in a little too hard, and I think she was trying to signal, hey, but she tapped too hard. That because usually you go like this, like if you ever watch wrestling where someone's got the arm like this, and you see a wrestler go like that, that's the signal to them, hey, ease up, you're about to break my freaking wrist or dislocate my shoulder. So you kind of signal to them like that with a quick.
So what you're saying is you think it was a inexperienced thing on Jade's part.
It was an inexperienced thing on her part, and she is, and we have acknowledged she is inexperienced. This is literally a woman who in her rookie year got thrown to the wolves in AEW. So now the performance centers teach her a lot of things, but I do think that was a rookie mistake. And also, speaking of Jade Cargill, just to make it clear to all the marks out there, everybody had a problem with the top rope that night.
Oh,
it wasn't just Jade.
Brutal.
It wasn't just Jade. Sammy and Chad had a problem. Hell, even in the first match when AJ went over to the ref actually whispered to him, hey, watch this top rope here. Somebody didn't mess this up all the way. Because the same spot that Jade messed up in this pay-per-view, she hit perfectly at Backlash. So, yeah,
she is inexperienced. Botches do happen. But realistically, and I was a big Jade hater in AEW. He can support this.
Oh, yeah.
She has improved immensely. She has gotten so much smoother in the ring and in a very short time period. So I'm still not her biggest fan, but she is growing. And as long as she keeps growing, I will continue to support her.
Yeah. It's a person who is inexperienced and didn't learn, hey, there's a difference between tapping out and giving a signal. So I think that's what happened. Shayna locked it in a little too tight, which can happen.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that's what people do. Sometimes they lay it in, they get a little, sometimes some people get stiff, and you got to tell the guy or girl, ease up. So I think that's what I'm saying. Like, hey, you're cutting off my wind circulation. I can sell. Ease up. You don't have to choke me out. I'll sell for you.
It's one of those. Shayna was getting a little excited because she's like, "Oh, I'm back in MMA."
No, yeah, right.
When the adrenaline goes, sometimes you get a, as Gator would say, get a little squirrely. So sometimes you got to back somebody off a little bit. That's why you give them a warning before you do anything.
Yeah, there was no warning whatsoever for what happened with the storytelling that I saw. I did not think they were going to be able to do and write this story with the Alpha Academy any better as we move on to talk about this next match. This brilliance with Chad Gable, Otis, Maxine Dupree, I love it. And even Akira, he's fitting in here nicely. I love this. And they're doing all the right moves. You saw the thing with Sammy out on the ring apron on the side there, taking out Maxine, Chad taking her out inadvertently, being flung over there by Sami Zayn. Of course, Otis is like, why did you do that? And so now Otis has just stood up to Chad. But it started several weeks ago, but we're starting to see it's coming to a head. It's like that zit you got to pop. And it's about to pop. It's happening right now. Obviously, Sammy retained the IC championship. My favorite part was what happened on the side of the ring. Otis carrying Maxine out. This faction is dissolving right in front of us. And it's interesting to me. And I thought Chad Gable was going to win this match. I was wrong.
Those of us who actually, pay attention knew that Chad had no chance.
I'm going to be honest. I told Dez off the air. I thought he was going to pick Chad. I honestly thought, because he had been high on Chad Gable, he'd been praising Chad Gable, so I'm thinking he's going to pick Chad. I'm going to pick Sammy. I'm going to win this title. Then he said Sammy, and in my head I went, "Fuck me," because I knew we were going to tie right there. Like, God damn it! I really was hoping he picked Chad.
This is one of those cases where I love Chad Gable. Chad Gable is. I'm very high on Chad Gable.
Yes,
but it was one of those moments where it wasn't going to happen at Clash of the Castle. It wasn't, and I knew better. The story wasn't set for. The bigger story was the breakup with the Alpha Academy.
Yeah,
that's what they were aiming for. It wasn't. This had nothing to do with the title at that point.
Exactly.
Yep.
And it was a wrestling match, which was great because in the beginning, it's an I Quit match. So you're going to see weapons and violence, and it's done a certain way. A triple threat tag, it's going to be done a certain way. It's a tag team match. There's multiple people in the ring. So now here, okay, now we get some wrestling, just straight up one-on-one which makes sense. It's the Intercontinental title. That's what that belt's designed for. So I loved it. I loved that it was it felt like a wrestling match. It was great. And of course, what's great is the fact that when he carried Maxine out, it was because Chad has the ankle lock. Sammy rolls through, Chad flies out, and it looks like he chop blocked Maxine. But really, Sammy just launched him. And that's where him and Otis had that moment.
Those are the best moments. I love those moments where the crowd knows what happened, but even the crowd was egging it on. Like, they're willing to lie just to see that beef. And that's a great tell from the writer's perspective on what they want. What does the crowd want? How much are you going to give them of what they want? Because Booch, as we've just talked about, and Desmond, we have too, to an extent, of how much do you give us what we want? Like, don't give us everything we want, because then we'll stop watching. We'll be bored. But give us just enough to keep us there, keep us on the string, right?
If you give everybody what they want, the story dies too quick.
Yeah,
you need to build up. There needs to be certain points of this. We're going to give you what we want on this rivalry, but this one you're going to have to wait on.
That's it. Oh, go ahead.
Give us everything we want all at once.
Yeah,
give it to us in short bursts until by the end of the rivalry we get everything we want. But give a little bit here and take a little bit there, and that's how you do it.
Talking about giving everything you got and taking it, man, I gotta say, Piper gave everything she had to Bayley. Everything. And she controlled about 90% of the match. But Corey Graves said something, and I thought it was one of the best lines of the whole day. And he said, the difference between being a great challenger and a great champion. And Bayley found a way, again, using Piper's own momentum to deliver the crucifix driver at the very end. But this was a story that opens up the door further down the line for Piper to be considered a serious contender. I mean, guys, it was just the end of the match that was the difference. Anybody who watched this, 13+ minute match was like, hey, is this happening? Like, are they doing this? Because it could have happened. And if it did happen, none of us would have been shocked, because that's what we were watching. So y'all's thoughts on the match, perhaps the direction here, what you liked, what maybe you didn't like out of this. But again, what a beautiful finisher too. So go ahead.
This was awesome. It was done very well, because going into this match, we all knew that Bayley was going to walk out the win. Going into this match, we're like, there's no chance. Piper Niven's not going to do shit. All we could hope is that she didn't squash Niven. It was done right. Bayley survived this match, which is exactly what needed to happen. Niven's not ready to be the champion. I love Piper Niven, but she's not there yet. But what she did was prove that she can hang with the big girls. All right, she went in there, had a hell of a match, had a hell of a showing, proved that she was top tier class pro wrestling. And yes, she didn't win, but she is a contender, and now she has a reason that she can come back and be a contender again later.
Yep, well said. Booch, what say you?
Beautifully said. This is a very well done match, because again, you knew Bayley was going to win, but you didn't know how the match was going to go. And it was a match that we knew was for Scotland. This was a Scotland match. This was not a match. This wasn't for us. This was for the crowd. And it made sense because we already know she's got Nia Jax at SummerSlam. So it doesn't make sense to put a credible contender in Clash of the Castle, especially if Bayley retains next month. But, so what you need to do is get a hometown favorite in there, have a match, see what happens. And like Des said, Piper showed that she can be a champion down the road. So this is somebody that from this should get more of a push, more of a story. No disrespect to Chelsea, but I don't think they need to be tag team champions anymore. So I hope that she puts something else. Like, hell, you could have something where if Chelsea had costed the match, I can't remember, I don't think she did. But if she had, you could have done a breakup there, have them feud for a while, and then eventually work her way into a women's title reign.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of interference by Chelsea, but nothing happened from it.
It was minor interference. Chelsea tried to get some distraction in. Nothing came of it. She got kicked out of the arena. It was basic. It was basic heel tactics 101. It was done the way it needed to be done.
But it had no bearing on the finish of the match.
it's just very similar to the last match. Minimal interference, nothing really happening that altered the state. Like, who are we kidding? Who are we kidding? This last match that we are going to talk about, my goodness. We talked about it. We teased it. Drew McIntyre, in case you missed it, got absolutely screwed. Screwed. And I loved the way it happened. It was beautiful. Like, the timing was perfect. Everything, just the eye-to-eye contact with Punk being there, locking eyes. It was just like, oh my gosh, they're doing that. They couldn't have done it any better. And then the aftermath with him quitting, but we've seen this before with so many competitors. They come back later. We saw it with what, Jey Uso. He quit. He's back. People quit. They come back all the time. So, but this match, great match. People getting caught in the ropes, blow for blow. Exchanges. Priest is up. Drew is up. Drew is up. Priest is up. Just a dogfight, right? Heavyweight battle. This truly was a heavyweight battle. And then, of course, you see the ref diving out. Somehow we're like, okay, the dive didn't take him out. He hurt his leg. Okay, how are they going to milk a leg injury on this? Because he can still pin, right? And then he gets absolutely thrown off the side into the side barricade. And then all of a sudden, you see a 10 count plus. They stopped at 10. Then Punk comes running in. A 1 and a 2. And much like a Tootsie Roll Pop commercial, no, a 3. Listen, beautifully done. Heel tactics, opening the door for so many more of we're going to see between Drew and CM Punk. This is going to happen, and it's going to be very sooner than later, my friends. Your thoughts on this match, guys? I'm literally watching it in the background for the second time, and it's just great. It's great. So go ahead.
This was fun. This match was fun. It was a beautiful back and forth match to start with. All right. We definitely had some Drew McIntyre making it look like he was going to win the match, and we had no Judgment Day interference, which was awesome. It was exactly what it was supposed to be. I loved it because he said there was not going to be any Judgment Day interference after he lost the previous match, right?
Yeah.
So it was great. Everything was the way it needed to be. And then the ref gets out cold. You're like, okay, well, this is normally where the Judgment Day would get involved, but he specifically said there wasn't going to be any. And like, the referee's out the 1. Too, the ref, like you said, there's like a 10 count and finally you see a ref slide into the ring. They don't even show you the face of the guy. You just like, and then you see those red shoes, and you're like, wait a second. Then you realize the hair's slicked back. It's like, oh no. 1, 2, and then it finally shows shoots over to Punk, and it's a good angle of McIntyre looking at him, and Punk just goes, 2, fuck you. Oh, and the best part about it is he wants to talk about how Punk screwed him, right? Watch that video again. Who laid hands on who first? Punk didn't do a damn thing. Punk just taunted him, right? Punk just taunted him while the referee was out. He didn't stop the referee from counting. He didn't touch him until McIntyre grabbed him, being all threatening, and then Punk kicked him in the groin. You know what? It was only after McIntyre started it.
Can't let you get close.
All he did was taunt him.
Hey, I didn't punch anybody. I just kicked somebody a little bit.
So, all right, but I'm going to ask y'all that's a very meddling way to approach this. Because, Des, put yourself in Drew's shoes. If you were in the match of your life.
100% McIntyre has a reason to be pissed. But Punk has an argument to say, I was physically provoked.
I mean, he was. So this is the beginning. This opens up the door. How long? Because obviously Drew is signed through, I think, April of 27, right? So here we are of coming into July of 24. Do the math, a little less than 3 years. What is this? What is this? Give him a 6-month vacation? Is he going to come back at SummerSlam that soon? What do you guys feel for this?
Well, that's the thing. They're building this to SummerSlam. That's the plan. That's why they did the beatdown on Punk when he came back in Chicago before he announced he was officially medically clear, but he never said anything. So it gives him a reason to be gone for another month, or another couple weeks. But the goal is SummerSlam, Drew and Punk.
This match is this will be the first match too. This isn't going to be a one and done. I can tell you that just watching it.
Yeah.
It's too good. If the story is too fun, they're going to have this match, and I can almost guarantee you that Punk is going to win the first match,
At least.
right? And then they're going to have a second match, and Drew's going to win. And it's not going to be enough. Punk will be like, all right, you beat me, because he's the good guy right now. He's going to let it go. He's going to think it's over, but it's not enough for Drew. And Drew's going to come back. It's like, no, we're not done until I fucking end your career.
And then that's when Punk will probably win the third one.
Yeah. That's how this is going to go. I mean, that's my best guess right there.
Yeah. It's a fantastic match. Like, Drew and Priest really did good. I love the entrance that he got was so amazing. And the fact that so many fans were pissed at it. They're like, that's Roddy Piper's music. No, it's Scotland's music. They gave it to Piper. That's like getting mad at a high school graduation because they play the Macho Man's theme. No, that's the graduation song, and they gave it to the Macho Man.
Got to do the macho. Yeah. I don't know if anybody can really do that well. I definitely can't. But guys, we talked about. Oh yeah. I think I
careful how you do the impression.
Oh, pretty sure I just blew a muscle in my neck. Oh. That was Clash of the Castle. You guys have a score to settle. There is a belt to be worn, and it's not going to be me. It's not going to be me. It's either going to be Damascus Dez or Vinny Bucci, and they are going to determine the winner at Money in the Bank. Who's going to climb? Who's going to climb it? The men, the women? But also, we got ourselves a match coming up between Seth Rollins and Damian Priest. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to know more matches. They're going to this has been recorded about a week ahead of time. So as you know, we'll have some late ads, but we won't miss a beat, hopefully, unless there's a late ad on SmackDown. But we will never, ever leave an episode of the Male Soap Opera Moment without a couple key catchphrases plus one of which is, have a nice day.
Bang, bang.
Fuck American politics.
MAGA, baby.